Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you here. You know, for the teachers, the first lesson is always, it can be a nuisance when the students are sleeping. At the moment, the situation is different. All the students haven't come yet for the first lesson, so the classroom is pretty empty. But, well, we will work with who we have, and this is good. My name is Aiki Jõgeva. I come from Estonia. I live in South Estonia and I work in a small country school. It's called Kääpa School. And here I have listed all the things, not all the things, but some of the things I'm doing. I'm a biology, chemistry and environment science teacher. Then I coordinate European projects. We have 5 partner schools in different countries in Europe. With Erasmus+, then I'm a globe teacher, of course, and I'm also the president of Estonian Biology Teachers Association, which is a nice group of people who want to improve biology education in Estonia. And I'm also Scientix ambassador. This is my school here. And it might seem funny to some people, but our school is not very big. It's only 142 people, children, and it's a nice working environment in the countryside. Well, as a teacher, I always have to have my teacher's point of view, of course. And this is what the teachers usually think about. How to make learning happen in the classroom, and how to motivate students to do something, to learn something. This kind of teacher, which is in the picture, probably won't help anymore, because well, you have to be very creative to be sure that your students learn something. These are really the questions that the teachers are facing in their everyday work, and how to inspire students to love science and to like science, and some of them, of course, to love science. That is why I think we have to do all kinds of extra things, not to stick to the curriculum, strictly to the curriculum. We have to stick to the curriculum, by the way, but we have to find time for other activities, because otherwise we won't maybe reach all these aims we have at school. And that is why I myself was inspired by GLOBE in 2000. Estonia joined GLOBE in 1996, and then one day I met a colleague of mine in the street who said, "Okay, do you know anything about GLOBE?" I said, "I don't know anything." She said, "Do you want to join?" I said, "Of course, I want to join. Then I will get some more information." And it turned out to be a very nice and good activity for myself, of course, and also for my students. Well, maybe it's not good to say that it was that it was good for myself first, but I really believe that first we have to inspire teachers, and then they can go to the students and do something with students. Otherwise it won't work anyway. And actually the key to all these kinds of things, and citizen science and everything, this key is in the teachers. And in Estonia you can also see that theoretically, we have 80 plus schools who have joined GLOBE, but only about 20 schools are active at the moment. So this is a good example how, well, you can join GLOBE, you can join any project, but you need people who do it and who will be active in these things. Well, what do we do in Globe in Estonia? We have, of course, these active schools, they collect data, they send them to this Globe server, but of course collecting data is not everything, because it doesn't make sense just to collect data, you have to do something with the data. Then we have such smaller local Estonian research projects which are connected with Globe. We take part in big campaigns which Globe has, for example, now in spring, I think it's going on already, this phenology campaign, and this Green Up and Green Down project. Then we have our own student research conference, where students can start from the research question and end up with presenting their results to their peers. Then we have annual learning expedition in summer since 1997, so it's a long tradition already. And we have an annual teacher seminar in autumn. And our challenge, of course, is how to get all these schools to be active again. Okay. Thank you. Well, here is an example of one Globe-based extra activity which we took part in during 2011 and somewhere around these years. It was CloudSat. The CloudSat is a satellite, and the scientists were interested in taking photos from the ground, because the satellite saw the clouds from upside down, and then the students had to take photos. This is a mirror there which mirrors the whole sky, and then you had to take photo and to show where the clouds are and which kind of clouds, and so on and so on. We took part in this project for several years. We had some nice students who did it, and then later one girl, for example, wrote a research paper based on these data we got from a CloudSat program. Then we have our local Estonian project. We measure black carbon in the atmosphere, because air pollution is a problem everywhere, and we have been measuring it for several years already. And there are about 25 schools who take part, and it's an interesting project because students also they measure the black carbon content in the air, and later they can, together with scientists, they can make conclusions, write their own little researches. So I think this is also a good project, and we are aiming at some more. We have some more ideas for local projects. So then we have the student research and conference in autumn, and here this is something that is very useful for the both for students and also for teachers, that they can be sure that young people learn something. Now I would like to introduce our summer learning expedition. We call it expedition. It sounds very maybe too. The word is not appropriate for a 3-day event, maybe. But this is how we call it, and I think it comes from the big globe. And the aim of these 3 days in summer is to learn how to do globe investigations, to learn the protocols, of course to learn the scientific methods. Students from all over Estonia come together. It's very motivating. They meet each other. They have some socializing events there. They can learn in the nature, which is not so usual maybe in town schools, in bigger cities sometimes. They learn all kinds of skills, build a sense of community. and make friends with like-minded people, which is maybe the last but not least. Because I have noticed that, we discussed it yesterday in our workshop, that very often those students who love to do science and who love nature, they sometimes are considered a little bit strange, and they are maybe sometimes a little bit more quiet, and they want to concentrate and they don't want to jump around all the time like Duracell rabbits. So they find like-minded friends in the camps, and they might be friends for the lifetime. Who organizes the event? We have a nice group of global alumni who do the job now. In former times, it was very typical that one school was the main organizer, and they cooperated with all the other groups. But now the global alumni are the main people who do it, and also globe schools, teachers, and scientists from universities. Also, the USA, the Embassy of the United States have been very friendly with us. Very often they come to greet us in these camps. Somebody from the embassy comes and says something to young people, and they even have co-financed some of our events. For example, when we have had those regional expeditions some years ago, this is a picture from a regional expedition where we had people from 5 or 6 different countries, surrounding neighboring countries. The first day is usually for learning sessions. Then we learn those globe protocols, and students can choose. They can choose at least 2 learning sessions, and they can learn about hydrology or atmosphere or soil or all the other main protocols. Then the second day is for the expedition itself. So the students are in groups. They get a topic. It depends on the place. Every summer the summer camp is in a different place in Estonia. And then, for example, when we stay somewhere where we have lots of lakes, for example, then lots of themes are connected with the lakes. For example, one group maybe studies water chemistry, the other the vegetation, and maybe the micro invertebrates, and so on and so on. So they have their topics, and then they have to set up some research questions, they have to set up some hypotheses, then they go and collect some data. Of course, the period is very short. We will need a little bit more time for that. But the questions are not very wide. They are such smaller questions which can be maybe answered during half of the day of investigation. Then they collect data, and then they have to, in the afternoon, they have to look at the results, discuss it in the groups, and make presentation. So they have to make some conclusions, what they found out. And then in the evening, we always have some role plays. There is one theme every year, and they are very funny. Young people are very creative, so we can always have a good laugh. And this is nice. They make costumes out of plastic bags and whatever they get from somewhere, and they are nice. Then the third day is for presentations and quiz. So all the groups present the results of their work, and then later they will have a quiz about globe in general, and the questions that were discussed during the previous days, and also some information from these presentations, so to motivate them to listen to the presentations more actively. we have also this cake tradition, so this is not bad because you need to have some cherry on the cake. There are not always cherries, but these were really beautiful cakes last time. The cake is very big and it's amazing, so everybody can get a piece of that. It's a traditional thing. Well, and I'm running out of time. This is what we do in schools, but we also have other citizen science projects in Estonia where we know that some schools are taking part and some teachers with their students. So, for example, we also have our own database of nature observations where you can. It's like this iNaturalist similar thing. Then, for example, I want to participate in this project with one of my students now, and this is the diary of garden birds. During the summertime, people can learn about birds in their garden. They can send information, and you can see there are lots of people all over Estonia who are taking part. And there is another project from for the winter time. They have winter birds counting day or something like this. So the ornithologists are very active in citizen science. So then we have a big database where you can also submit your data, and then there are lots of apps. This is one example. You can, for example, you can record a bird song. You can upload it there, and there are even specialists who can help you with determining which species this is. And this is also a nice app. And there are also all kinds of apps which help you learn fungi or lichens or plants in the nature and so on and so on. And they are in Estonian, so they are good also for Estonian students in their mother tongue. Well, and now, the question, maybe yesterday was really an inspiring day, and maybe today I would have been even more clever to say things about citizen science, but this is what I could tell you now. And how to improve this citizen science in schools. I think we need better communication to teachers, and as I said, I really believe that we have to inspire teachers first, and then it goes over to students. Well, I like this picture because we went to look for kingfishers. We have them in Estonia. They are beautiful. They are like tropical birds, but you don't see them very often. And then we went to the river where we used to have them, and the children said, "Yes, I saw them," but they didn't. I know, but they have those binoculars and said, "Teacher, I saw it was something blue there." Yeah, but maybe I didn't tell them that, no, you didn't see them, because I think this is the beginning of being curious about nature. Well, thank you. This was all I could tell you. So, my time is up, I'm afraid.
Yes, but we have just a little bit more time because of Julia Vogel not coming. For me, there's so many questions I want to ask about GLOBE specifically that some of them I think I'll save until after the 3 different GLOBE presentations have come, and so then we can, I can see what's been answered already too, because I definitely have GLOBE questions. But on the carbon study is one that I've been really interested in doing here with snow, so black carbon and snow. Do you do it with snow also, or just in the atmosphere?
No, it's in the air. They have created such a pump from an aquarium pump, which they turn the pump around so it doesn't blow air, but it sucks it. So, and then we measure it on this filter paper.
Yeah. I want to learn about that later.
Yeah.
Just a short question. You said something very important, which is first you have to inspire teachers. And so what do you think is needed to inspire teachers? You said better communication, but...
Well, to be honest, I don't know. It very much depends on the personality of the teacher, because you know, teachers are very... teacher's job is very full of all kinds of paperwork and going to the classroom, preparing the task, blah, blah, blah. And so teachers feel very tired. Very often they feel very tired. And when you go to them and say that, okay, let's do something, then they just say, I don't have time. I want to have time for my family, and so on and so on. So it depends on the people and how to inspire them. I can't say I don't know. I really don't know. This is a question to discuss maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. But lots of people don't know about things. Yeah, this is also what I think. Yeah.
But how did you start yourself, for example?
This globe.
Yeah, it looks like it's taking a lot of your time, so it's quite an engagement decided. And so how did you decide to, or was it the beginning for you?
Actually, the very beginning with all kinds of projects for me was because, you know, I moved to the countryside. This is just a personal thing. I moved to the countryside and my father told me, don't forget your English. And then I started to look for the ways to keep my English and to improve it a little bit. And then I started looking for projects, and then, you know, we were in the Soviet Union, and at the beginning of 1990s, the borders were open, and we could look around in the world, and we got foreign guests in Estonia, and we could talk to them, we could work with them, and so we got the first partner schools. And so for me it was very exciting, because I really thought that I have the ability to do something international, and this inspired me. And then I found this globe, because I'm a biologist. I thought it would be useful, and when I was younger, when I was a child, I wanted to become a scientist. This is also a personal thing, but the life took me to the countryside, and I can't do much science there because all the universities are not where I live. And then I found the way to do science with my students. And this is also a personal thing. I just love science and I want to do it, and this is my way of doing it. This is maybe very personal.
I think that's what is also inspiration. I think it's to personalize it. Because you say all the things, but I think just the way you just explain it, so it shows all the passion you have.
Yeah.
And I think that if you speak like that to other people, you contaminate them. Or you touch something in them if there is something in common, I think.
Yeah, maybe, but this is very often it is personal. Some people are inspired about those projects and everything, others are not so, and you can't say the others do something wrong, they are just different.
In practice, once you decide to get involved, was it easy for you to insert it in your program or in your...
No, it wasn't, because you have to find students to do it with, and you have to find time, because you can't do it in the lessons all the time, because, you know, in the lessons you have the whole class, but the best way is to do it with the whole class, but at first I had a group of interested students, so we did it after the lessons and so on and so on. It wasn't easy to start.
And the parents are, because that was I was interested, because since it's your teacher and all these things, so the kids are okay to stay after, and the parents are okay to let the kids stay after, or is it in the structure anyway they can stay in the school, or how does it work?
Yeah, in our case, everything depends on the buses, because they can stay at school until the school bus leaves, and then you have to find time between the lessons and the bus time, so it's also a little bit tricky sometimes. But yeah, the parents are interested that the children do something. Yeah.
So I think something you said just now about teachers and how to motivate teachers just makes a lot of sense. We've talked about this a lot. People that are science teachers are into science. A lot of them, like me, I purely studied science, and then it was afterwards that I went back and became a teacher. But we don't get a chance to really do science as teachers. We do a lot of science education, it's not the same thing is doing science. So I think that could be a way of really motivating a lot of teachers, is they get to follow their passions. Maybe their twin passion. One passion is teaching kids about science, but the other passion is actually doing it. And so this might be a way of kind of bringing more teachers in.
That's right.
That have passion for science.
Yeah, and maybe to give them all the information about the citizen science, which maybe they don't think about, that they also themselves can do it. They can collect some data or do something for this real science outside school.
So I could certainly keep asking questions for a long time, but we need to rotate through, and then if we have time afterwards, we can come back to more.
Sure.
Thank you very much.